What's good, peeps? Thanks as always for passing by the channel. Much appreciated. Hit that subscribe button if you guys are new. Don't forget as well, please to like and share the vids. Again, thank you so much to everyone that does continue to do that. You can also support the channel as well. I do have a Patreon account. The link is in the description. All right, quick vid this one. We're going to talk about this fight more in This Week in Boxing tomorrow. The fight has just ended. Job done, right? Job done. Kell Brook got the victory, which I guess was the most important thing. Ended the fight in the 7th round with a jab, a very solid jab, put his man down as well in the 3rd round. I was trying to score the performance as the fight was going on, so not score it in terms of round, but the overall performance from Kell Brook. And it was quite difficult because I was scoring it based on him being an active fighter, if that makes any sense. Whereas he's not an active fighter, he's been out the ring for 14 months. So based on the fact he's been out the ring for 14 months, it was a solid performance. It really was. I expected him to be a bit rusty, right? I expected him to kind of be a step slower than he should be. I expected him to be a bit nervous, a bit tentative sometimes with his punches. So overall, it was a solid sort of 7 out of 10 performance. It was, again, out of the ring for 14 months. And not out of the ring for 14 months and living like a monk, right? He's not out of the ring for 14 months and living the life. I think we know what Kell's like. He's out of the ring for 14 months. And I guess for, I don't know, 3/4 of those 14 months, probably doing things he shouldn't do. So he's been up and down in weight. He's been all over the place. So when you take all those things into consideration, it was a decent performance. I think DeLUCA was also like the perfect opponent as well. You don't want to be out the ring for 14 months and get in there with someone who, I don't know, the first shot you land, they're going to go over. Remember when Amir Khan fought Le Greco and literally just fucking tumbled over? You don't want that, right? I mean, boxers never want to go overtime. They always say, oh, we want rounds, we want rounds. You don't want to go fucking 10, 12 rounds. But you don't want a fighter whereby you've been out the ring for 14 months, you've been doing great sparring, weight's been hard to make, but you've made it, and you get in there and the first punch you land, you don't want that. You want a guy that's going to give you rounds. You don't want a Carson Jones, don't get me wrong, you don't want that, but you want a guy that's coming to win. And I think some people might think, well, everyone comes to win. No, that's not true. Some fighters do come to survive. Some fighters come with that losing mentality. I think it's fair to say that DeLUCA didn't have that at all. Even when he got put down in the 3rd round, he got up and he fucking started throwing, right? I mean, he was tough. He was very, very tough. And we were led to believe beforehand, as soon as his name was mentioned and people were like, oh, who the fuck is this guy? A lot of people that knew him in the game were like, he's tough. And I think he proved it. But again, well done to Kell Brook and getting the victory. I don't know what this means now. I don't know if this is the next chapter for Kell Brook, because I remember we had this, I don't know, 18 months ago when he fought, I can't remember who he fought. Before he fought Zarafa, he fought some guy before, I can't remember now. And we were like, oh, this is the second coming of Kell Brook again. So I'm not going to get too excited. What they do need to do is keep him active. This fight now is in February. I don't know, there are cards. Eddie Hearn's got the cards, right? This is one thing that upset me about Kell Brook being out the whole of 2019. Eddie Hearn has the cards. I mean, we hearing that Josh Kelly's going to fight at the O2 Arena in March, I believe. There is talk about, obviously, Chisora versus Usyk in May or April. And who else is there? Dillian White versus Povetkin, AJ versus Pulev. So there are cards. So he does need to be active. I know the name that's being mentioned a lot in the last sort of month or so. It's weird how it's gone from Amir Khan, who's not been mentioned at all anymore, maybe because, I don't know, the fight's at 147, to Liam Smith. We're hearing a lot about Liam Smith now, and that's a fight that obviously can be made. I think Liam Smith wants it a lot more than Kell wants it. Remember, Liam Smith left Frank Warren to join Eddie Hearn and has done nothing. Let's be honest, Eddie Hearn's delivered nothing. I mean, yes, he might have been paid, but I mean, he's had a fight in Mexico, he had a fight, I can't remember where else, but he's done nothing. So Liam Smith obviously wants this fight. It's a big fight. They might chuck it on pay-per-view. They might, and it's a big name. Kell Brook's a big name in the sport of boxing. He still is. Whereas Kell Brook, I don't know if you want Liam Smith yet. I mean, you don't go from 14 months out to DeLUCA to Liam Smith. And that's not that I rate Liam Smith that highly, but Liam Smith's an active boxer. He's a natural 154 pounder and he's very, very big. Very big. I mean, look at the weigh-in. I think Canelo's quite thick and big. Look at the weigh-in for Liam Smith versus Canelo. That's how big fucking Liam Smith is. He's a big guy. So I think Kell might want to either swerve it or try and get a couple more in before he takes on Liam Smith. The 154-pound division isn't easy, people. It really isn't. You guys know I've always been saying if Kell can make 147, make 147. But he does look good on the scales at 154. But I think we even saw it today with DeLUCA. DeLUCA looked massive. I mean, he looked really thick. He looked really, really thick. And that's the issue, I guess. It's not that Kell Brook and his opponent won't both weigh in at 154 pounds. It's what do these fuckers rehydrate to? DeLUCA looked big today. Hence why he was able to absorb a few of Kell's punches. So look, we'll see. But I'm just happy Kell Brook's back. I hope he can be active. This year, they should really be looking at minimum 3 fights this year, minimum. I'd like to see Kell Brook fight 4 times. I know it's going to be difficult, and I guess it depends on those fights and who he's fighting, and I don't know how hard those fights are, etc. But if Kell Brook can have 3, maybe 4 fights this year, I think it's a good year, and then we'll see what 2021 has in store for him. I know that's looking way into the future, but I just want him to have a good year and be active, and not a year like 2019, which was a fucking disgrace, to be honest. Obviously, Kid Galahad fought on the undercard as well. Good performance. Some other good performances on the undercard as well. Dave Allen, Harper becoming a world champion as well. So look, great performance. Decent card. Not the greatest card. I know it wasn't the greatest card, but decent card. But we are going to do a This Week in Boxing tomorrow, where we'll talk about Kid Galahad and the rest a bit later. But this is all about Kell Brook. Welcome back, Kell Brook. And I have to admit, and I probably, as a Kell Brook fan, probably overly excited, but there's something about Kell Brook's music, It's his music and it's David Hayes' music. I just don't know why. I love them, mainly because a lot of fighters change their entrance music depending upon the fight, right? They just seem to change it all the time. Like AJ changes music fight all the time. Kell Brook has kept that fucking music and I just love it. I absolutely love it. Anyway, that's it. Peace.